Yo, what is good, my anime people? What is good, yo? Guys, seven or deadly sins. Such a weird, weird outcome to an episode. Not only was it weird to me, it definitely feels like everything is just spiraling further and further down. With Meliodas becoming someone completely different, all the way to the fact of how ridiculous it is to take out this character I'm playing as within a couple seconds by bringing the knight to him. You pretty much don't even have a fight anymore, right? So the crazy part about all this is it comes out of, you know, the death of two former kings of their rightful, uh, species or race, and seeing how they went down, seeing how that played out for them is kind of what I was telling or what I was saying in the video for last week is they just seem outclassed, they seem outgunned, and with this old man being in one transformation and going into the next, there was no chance, right? It seemed like there was no way, shape, or form they could actually do something against them with that type of power, with that type of just overall prowess of them being in a position to, you know, take charge and look forward to taking out anybody that kind of gets in their way at this point. Because not only do we see multiple people kind of being in a position where um, if you end up, fighting someone in this day and age now in this show, you might end up losing your life. Like there's a good possibility you're not winning the fight, and that's simply because the level of power is just getting so ridiculous now. But with that comes some good news for the Sins because without this news, I was kind of getting to the point where I was imagining uh, the show going in the direction that a lot of shows go with side characters, and that's with them ending up as useless characters, like just people who show up to get in the way or people who show up to make the situation more tense, things like that, which kind of sucks. But at the same time, it's understandable because guess what? Without them, some situations just don't happen in general anymore because our main characters can handle themselves and get out of those troubled things. So, I don't know. At the end of the day, I'm really looking forward to seeing just what the Sins are going to do because if it wasn't bad enough that they were like down teammates, not everybody was capable of fighting. Gother's out, at least down for however long. Uh, Meliodas was out and down for the count, but now he's doing something. I'll get to that. We had Escanor. He was completely out because of Meliodas. They both took each other out. So there's not a whole lot of sins that were standing up, but the good news that came out of it, out of the death of the old Fairy King and Giant, is that if King's wings end up growing to full size, he may be the strongest fairy that's ever existed in history. So, if that is not an indicator to what King still potentially can become, I don't know what else is. Like imagine him in the guy who we just saw, the giant and the fairy who can straight up bring himself. Which don't get me wrong, was it weird that the fairy guy didn't use any way, shape, or form one of the resurrection moves? It's almost like they just didn't have enough time to stretch out the fight and show that they would have resurrected and came back to fight? Or was that a commandment power that he gained because he became a commandment? Like, does having the seal of the demons grant you more power or something? Because they were completely trashed on. And I guess it does make sense because this is the same person that lost, a full-blown fight with a lower level Meliodas, like a weaker form of Meliodas. He did not use this so-called assault mode, which seemingly was stronger than anything he used when he went against all the commandments at the same time, right? Like, what he was doing and what he started to use was a form of of him when he actually just loses his cool and he actually goes full demon. So it's clear that this was one of his stronger things that he's pulled out, and still it wasn't anything to our boy Escanor. So I mean, it was and it wasn't at the same time, right? So that's kind of where we're stuck now. Is where does this lead us in the grand scheme of power? How strong did Meliodas get just by whatever was going on? Like this negative energy that was going to him felt like maybe it was someone actually sending energy his way to continue his mind manipulation or whatever it is while he was still in his form. Because seeing him pretty much taking to the skies with Elizabeth and pretty much telling the Sins that they're disbanding is a dramatic turn. The guy who put the Sins together more than, once now, or at least he put them together and then had to round them all up after they separated. He's the one disbanding and, excuse me, ending it off. And that's what actually kind of blew my mind at the end of the day is the captain, he seemingly remembers everything. He's like, you guys were my precious friends. I don't want to kill you, right? Those are words of somebody who seemingly is in control, who seemingly is conscious to the things he's doing. So it doesn't fully sound like this is a split personality or anything, but almost just him reverting to a point in time where he didn't have any feelings or he didn't experience so many things. But even that sounds wrong because he shouldn't be able to remember any of that stuff if he doesn't have any of the emotional attachments to it. It should be like he never experienced it then or that it never happened. But he clearly remembers them, so I don't know. I really did like this episode, besides the whole terrible people that actually put up the video and think that if they don't promote whatever they have, that they're not going to ever get heard of. But little advice, if you put all your promotion everywhere and people see it and they still don't go to where you're at, then you should probably just chill out with that promotion and do what you do, and people will look for you and try to find out where you're at instead of throwing it in their faces and forcing them to see it. Because guess what? At the end of the day, no one's going to care if they really don't have to. So, with all that being said, take care, everybody. I am definitely looking forward to more Seven Deadly Sins, even though the way I'm seeing things play out, it's just all over the place, man. I honestly don't know what to tell you when it comes down to Meliodas and what he's thinking. If he becomes the Demon King, I guess he thinks that maybe he can save Elizabeth because he will have whatever power that he put on them to make them suffer. Maybe he'll have the same power to take it to revoke it. So that's the only thing I can think of on the spot. But other than that, I will definitely talk to you as soon as possible, my anime people. I gotta drop basketball for sure tonight, so look out for that. And I wanted to apologize for all this stuff coming out late. Stuff might be like this for a little bit, only because I got a job to be doing and learning and stuff. So I want to be as good as I can there as I am on here. So it's gonna be pretty easy because here it's pretty relaxed and my job is pretty relaxed that I'm going to be doing. So I hope to still hear from you guys, and if you do unsub, I understand completely because I might not be able to get the stuff out as quickly as I normally was, and you can probably find someone that does. So I hope you have an awesome one, and thank you for the support if you do decide to leave. That's just to the people that, don't really care for me. So anyway, take care and peace.